Good morning, lovely people. How are you all today? I hope you're well. I'm back in the garden. Oh my giddy goodness. It's been nearly 3 weeks since I was in the garden, which is a hugely long absence for me. I never leave it for this long, but life just conspired to keep me away. But it's really weird walking down here this morning. Just out the corner of my eye, I can see my calendar is still on October. That was the last time I was here, I think it was the last day of October to film for the November tour. Yeah, walking down today, it's kind of hard to explain, but there was a certain part of me which felt a bit nervous or had a sense of anticipation about today. So as I was walking, I was thinking about that old adage of it takes 6 weeks to break a habit or 6 weeks to make a habit. And I was thinking, well, gosh, I'm halfway through 6 weeks. Have I almost broken my habit of being in the garden? Oh, I hope not. I'm sure that's not the case. I'm sure I'll get going again today. But it's weird, I feel like a stranger here today. I haven't had a proper look at the plot, but I just felt like I was coming to someone else's garden. And I think part of that is because I think in my mind's eye, when I think about the garden, I always think of it as the garden in sort of, say, August, in the height of summer and the height of its lushness. And also, normally I'm here 2 or 3 times a week to do 2 or 3 hours of work, but quite often I pop in on an almost daily basis. For instance, if I'm harvesting or watering, as we all were this summer, that was a daily habit. And with those daily and even sort of 3 or 4 times a week visits, without realising it, I'm making dozens, if not hundreds, of small observations, not even consciously, just noticing how tall a plant has got, or the colour of the foliage, or the colour of the developing vegetable, the colour and size of the developing vegetables. So all these little unconscious observations I make me, in a way, they keep me connected to the garden. So then, if I step away for a couple of days, I think it's sort of like my mind is still full of all those little observations, but step away from it for 2 or 3 weeks, and it feels like that's all disappeared. It feels like the garden disappeared while I wasn't here. Of course it didn't. The garden is still, of course, here. So, it's really good to be back. I wasn't getting too worried about not being here because it's the time of year when nothing major is going to happen. I have noticed just on my way in this morning that where I planted my broad beans, all those nets are completely flat and trampled, probably by the foxes. So I'll sort those out today, and it may even be a case that I have to re-sow some of the broad beans and give it bigger nets. Otherwise, I haven't had a proper look. So, on occasions such as this, which don't happen very often at all, I think my first job of the day is to just slowly and quietly have a little wander through the garden, see where everything's at, just take it all in again, familiarise myself with my lover that I abandoned. Yeah, so I'm going to have a little walk around. There's a couple of jobs in mind that I do want to do today, but it may be that today I don't do anything. I just embrace my garden again. But first things first, I've got a visitor that I need to embrace. You alright, Rusty? As soon as I came through the gate, he scampered up. Where have you been? I need cuddles and nibbles. So on that note, I'm going to do some cuddling and nibbling. Well, he'll do the nibbling, I'll do the cuddling, and then go and see what needs doing in the garden. it's really quite a stiff breeze today. That's the other thing about being away for so long. Last time I was here it was sunny and warm. It's not anymore. So I've decided, first job of the day, all this netting and hoops are going to come off here and go to the broad beans. So, this has been protecting my carrots all summer and the leeks. But the activities of both the carrot fly and the allium leaf miner should have ceased now. So it should, in theory, be okay over the winter to be exposed. We'll see. I also need to stake a couple of these cabbages which have been rocked over in the wind. I think I was mentioning it in the November tour that it's well worth doing some research looking up about pests and their life cycles. Hopefully if you know their life cycle you can outwit the little blighters. Right, have I got rocks on this? Oh no, I've got more pests. And having done this today, I'm also planning to, I'm going to lift all the leeks today because they haven't been great by any means, so I might as well have them out and give a bit more space over to a couple of random cabbages and the carrots. So yeah. The sooner I do this, the better. And the great thing for today is that I'll finish the day with a lovely big harvest. Yay! Where I had the little net tunnels over the broad beans after sowing, it was essentially to stop the foxes digging up. They didn't come all the way to the end though, and I think, as I'm finding lots of this down this end and no plants, I think as shoots have come up the pigeons have had them, which is really annoying. And there are quite a few gaps in this side, but also the ground's been mashed down where the foxes have just completely flattened the nets. So, the sooner I get the big nets on and make them I'm just going to have to, I think I'm just going to re-sow. But I can't find any seed in my shed. So it's quite possible, likely, I think, that after that last sowing session, I think I've taken spare seed home. But that's fine. That's it's a good excuse to get back to the garden in a couple of days. I didn't ever used to need an excuse, but recently it feels like I do. So, yeah, I'll go and have a little look what seed I've got at home. And it might be that I haven't got any sowing seed left, but I've kept some dried broad beans for eating, so I'll just nick those instead. I'd rather nick a handful of dried ones that I was saving for eating, get them planted now, and from a handful create a bucket full of beans next spring, all being well. Yeah. Ideally, I think I should probably have gotten this done 2 or 3 weeks ago. Never mind. There's no point worrying about what I didn't do. Instead, just focus on what I can do now. This is, I think it's water piping. Oh, you'll have seen it on loads of people's allotments. I was really lucky to get this out of a pile of rubbish. I really don't like spending money. But more than that, let's recycle and reuse what we've got. Right now I'm going to do some, batten some bamboo poles too, just to give it a bit more rigidity. Top and squishing it all down again, give these little broad beans half a chance. But the ones that are up, there we go, that's better. Hopefully that'll outfox the foxes. Gosh, it's only taken me about an hour to do this. But that's because my lovely plot neighbours turned up and none of us have seen each other for ages, so we've been playing catch up. But yes, you can see on this side there are gaps. These two rows look okay, but this side, so I'm pretty sure I will find some seed of some description at home. Get those popped in now, let them get growing away, and then I shall very much look forward to next May and harvesting the first of my gorgeous broad beans, because I do love them. Oh yes, yes, yes. Sleep tight, have a good winter. Now that the nets are off, I can get to these leeks and have them out, because honestly, they just look absolutely rubbish. There's one of them that's flopped over completely, which suggests to me that it's full of leaf miner. Yep, leaf miner. I'll give you a close-up in a second. So, because of the combination of rust and leaf miner, I think I've pretty much decided to give up on growing leeks on this site. I had a couple of great years, and the leaf miner arrived, and they have been rubbish ever since. Yep. So, companion planting. The idea was that the scent of the carrots put off the leaf miner, and the scent of the leeks puts off the carrots. That doesn't seem to have worked. Plus, I did have EnviroMesh over this lot. I did find one small hole in the EnviroMesh. Yep, rubbish. Absolute rubbish. I will say though that it's not a massively important crop to me. It's not really taking up any space. It's one of those things of, yeah, I like some leek in the winter. Who doesn't like leek and potato and fennel soup? So, like I say, because it's just not that important, I'm not going to give myself the heart about them anymore. You know, if you think about it, we start these seeds in March, April, nurture them, cover them, water them, all summer the watering, my goodness. So for them to come to nothing, yeah, like I say, I'm going to spare myself the heartache of that in the future. Rubbish. Let's get to the end of this row and I'm going to show you one closer. Oh, little devils. Let me stand this side so you can see in the sun. Hopefully you can see. So, can you see just below the surface there? It's like a speck of dirt. I'll peel back and reveal. That, my friends, there. That is the allium leaf miner that does so much damage. Can you pick that up there? There's a couple of holes. That's some more. There. Basically what happens is you sort of strip and strip and strip the leaves back to try and find some solid leek. And you just keep going down and down and down through the leaves. And they're, oh yeah, you can really clearly see it there. They're just all the way through. Ah, vile, vile, look at that. Whole crop totally ruined, despite taking preventative measures of some companion planting and the mesh. So yeah, it's too heartbreaking now the last couple of years to bother anymore with leeks. So that's it. No more leeks in my garden. Oops. I think I should have got the nets off the garden a couple of weeks ago. There's one of them trying to come up through the brick. And they're coming up through the nets. So yeah, it's time to get these nets off. It was just to protect the bare ground from foxes digging. But I'm going to get them off right now before these beautiful new shoots get any more tangled. Out you come. Oh dear, this one's not too bad. Oh, isn't that a lovely sight though? Beautiful new, bright, acid lime green growth. Yay! Hooray for new growth this time. Wunderbar. This one's going to be a bit trickier. Oh my goodness. I honestly didn't mean to stay away from the garden for this long. Out you come. Good, good. Beautiful. Oh, gently does it. Let's give that a go. There we go. Oh, yeah. Gorgeous. Oops. What a gorgeous sight in this weak afternoon sunshine. Oh, come on, my pretties. Grow, grow. It's been great to be back in the garden. I won't be staying away for so long again. So I haven't done a huge amount today. I've done more catching up with friends than I have with actual gardening, but that's really, really important and lovely. So those broad beans, yeah, they're looking fine. I'll just have to plug those gaps where I think, oh, excuse me, the cats are around. I think pigeons have had tops off, foxes have trampled them. It's not a huge disaster. I'll just bung some more in if I can find some more seed. The leeks, well, what a total write-off. Never mind. It's not the end of the world, is it? Just to say, what I didn't say on camera earlier was all of that foliage, everything needs to be burned and destroyed. It is not going to go in the compost heap. So yes, I'll deal with that shortly. And then obviously the garlic is looking okay. Rescue it from its nets. Yeah, again, it's one of those things where probably a couple of weeks ago when they were that big I would have had the nets off, but never mind, they're rescued now. That's the main thing. And just to finish with today, I want to tell you about a really, really exciting seed I've just been given. Got them in my bit of newspaper. I've started podding. I don't know if you can see. Are you going to be able to make that out? Let me pull them out. So I have to say a huge thank you to Belinda for this. Actually, I don't know where she got the seed from in the first place, but it's a climbing bean. Does it look at all familiar? Let me show you the seed. I've never even heard of it. Here is the seed. Little, beautiful, pearly white, almost a circular seed, nice and fat. Look familiar? It's called Cocoa Sophie. Now, I haven't been able to do any research about it yet, but I believe it's one of the cocoa, and you all know by now how obsessed I am with Coco de Paimpol. I love it. But this is a climber, so what I'm really excited about is the space a climber takes up is way less than a bush, and you get more harvest. So I cannot wait to get these growing next year. When Belinda sent it to me, she sent me the little bit of info that came from, I think it was from the Real Seed Company. So it's been around since about 1700. But then the seeds to buy commercially became, or it was thought they became extinct in 2005. So after 2005, you could not buy seed. I don't know where they found it in order to get it going again, but I'm so glad they did. So hopefully next year I will have Coco de Paimpol and Coco Sophie. Like I said, I need to do a lot more research on it because I don't know whether it's one to dry or whether it's one to harvest demi-sec like I do with the bush Coco de Paimpol. So yes, I love an experiment. I love something new, and I'm hoping because it's a cocoa that I sort of know what I'm going to get, so it's really, really worth the experiment. So a huge, mega thank you to Belinda for those. And I think for today, that's my lot. I've identified quite a few little jobs in the garden, apart from the big job of digging those last two beds out and putting my new paths in. What's been great today, say, working with the broad beans, is I can already see how this division of my big beds into 5 smaller beds, it's already working because I've walked on the grass path, I've walked on the cardboard path, and that's it. I haven't had to set a foot on the actual bed itself. So yay, so I think the rest of November is about doing the dig, and there's all sorts of tidying, get the achotcha down and composted, bit of tidying up, more tidying up of the brassicas, and let's not forget harvesting, because so often I get to the end of my session and I'm so happy to have got a session in. I go off home all giddy and excited. I get home and then I think, oh, I forgot to harvest, you numbskull. So I'm going to say cheerio to you all for now. It's been really great to catch up with you again and be in the garden, and I can't wait to chat with you all online. For now, I'm going to go back to the garden and do some harvesting. I will see you all again really soon, I hope. But in the meantime, take care of yourselves and have fun whatever you're up to.